Hello and welcome back to Schlegel Bricks. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in to another stadium update video. Today we're going to get started on the roof, and it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error type of update because I'm not entirely sure what the result is going to be. I have some ideas, things I want to try, but we'll see. I don't know until I end up start building it and actually testing it on the stadium and seeing how it actually looks in reality. So yeah, if you don't know, this stadium is kind of inspired by, or has a lot of inspiration, not completely inspired, but has a lot of inspiration from the stadium in Braga, Portugal, which, as you can tell, similar stands, one on each side, and then I want to do a roof similar to it in terms of a partial roof kind of on each side, but then have some sort of support wire, truss, or whatever that spans from one side to the other. So that's kind of what we're trying to figure out in this episode. Just determine, whether we can put like a truss, like a full truss, like an industrial style truss that you might see at, stadiums like Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Or if we do more of like a wire style or like a very thin type of thing like the Braga Stadium. We'll see. That's kind of what this update's gonna explore, and we're gonna find out. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna try is making an industrial kind of truss. And I just wanna walk you through basically the basics of a truss design. And it has to do a little bit with math, but I promise you it's fairly simple. All you need to know is the Pythagorean theorem, and you really don't even need to know that. You just need to know that the most simplest right angle triangle is a 3, 4, 5 triangle, meaning the shortest side is going to have 3 in length, the other side is going to have 4 in length, and then the longest side is going to be 5 in length. So with Technic, there's a little bit of complexity in the sense of you can count the holes to determine your 3, 4, and 5 in length, but you have to account for the fact that each vertex hole, so where the connections happen, are going to be counted as half a hole. So this side is going to be the 3 side, meaning even though we have 4 holes, the outer 2 are going to be each a half a hole. So we have 1 half, another half, which equals 1, and then 2 and 3. So that's your 3 side there. And then your 4 side will be the vertical side here that hopefully doesn't require me knocking down the Technic anymore, but essentially that's going to be there. And so then obviously your 5 side is going to be right there, and that forms your right angle triangle. So as I mentioned, for our 4 side, we need a Technic piece with 5 holes because, as you remember, the outer 2 holes are going to be half a hole each. And so then we just put that, on there like that. And basically that's your 4 side, and that gives you these parallel beams. Your 5 side is going to be a, brick or a connector with 6 holes. Once again, half a hole on each side. That's going to be your 5 side, and all of a sudden you have yourself your right-handed triangle. Now, it's not quite, perfect. There's still rotation that can happen here. And so in a truss system, basically, you just need to invert the triangle like so. You have your 4 side here. Once it kind of gets on here, there we go. So it's a little bit better here. And then you just add this other side, and yeah, you just basically repeat this throughout the beam, and you can see kind of the shape of this beam and how it forms there. So that's your basic truss design. I just kind of wanted to walk you through that quickly, just in case you wanted to kind of maybe build your own. All right, so I have gone ahead and built a large truss to span from one side to the other. You can kind of see here, that triangle situation I was showing earlier. This is just, maxed out essentially. But yeah, let's try throwing this on the stadium and seeing how it does. All right, so this isn't gonna work. I want to formally apologize to any structural engineers watching this who are probably thinking, yeah, of course this wasn't gonna work. But yeah, there's just too much flexing going on, both from, you know, the supports here and also the truss itself. Emmett's even just going nuts in the background over it. But yeah, you can see basically how much it flexes if I kind of knock this kind of support away. You'll just see, yeah, it just flexes a lot. And then you'll notice how much this support, you know, flexes too on the side. Even if, you know, I add some kind of reinforcing supports, it still flexes quite a bit. So yeah, the industrial truss, it's just not gonna work. So let's try something else. All right, so this is the second option here. It's more similar to Braga in the sense of it being a much thinner kind of tension support. Now it's not a wire, it's not a high grade wire that goes across here. We're still using kind of Technic beams, but it's a lot lighter than the truss. And as you can see, it doesn't even need that middle support. So it doesn't nearly sag as much. However, you know, this doesn't have the actual roof on top. So let's add that and see how much it actually would sag. So with some weight on top, obviously it's not a full roof, but a little bit of weight on top, you can see it sags a little bit more. Does need that middle support now. Although if I, you know, knock that down and break it, apparently, it is, oh boy. Anyhow, it does sag a little bit. It's not super bad. Once again, obviously that's not an entire roof that it's kind of holding up, but once again, it doesn't have to hold up the entire roof because there will be one of these on each of these, you know, roof supports. So it's not bad, but I'm not entirely sure if I like it. Like, it might sag a little bit too much for my liking, although it does look a lot more like Braga. All right, so this is the final option here. It's gonna be something that's just basically localized to a side. There's nothing kind of that goes across the entire field, but I think it's probably gonna be the best bet, honestly. If I think about it, you know, when I take this to Brickworld Chicago next year, you know, if you're standing here and imagine this roof goes all the way across, you know, the stands, it kind of blocks your view of the stands a bit. You have to like crouch and get under it. Whereas this kind of opens it up, so viewing is a little bit easier. I don't know. I do like the idea of that though, but I think this is going to be more practical. Plus, I don't think I would have to build, you know, these kind of extra supports like I would for, you know, that option. So I think I'm leaning towards this. As you can see, I did, you know, lower the support just a little bit. You can see how tall that is compared to that, right? So I can lower it a little bit just so it's not as far above, you know, the top row of, you know, seating and fans. It doesn't need to be that high. It had to be that high if I was going to go with, you know, an option like this where, you know, there's a sag to it. But yeah, so let's build a couple of these just to kind of see how it looks a little bit more in practice. All right, so I've made some additional ones with the parts I have. I will have to order some more parts if I decide to go this route, but good news on this option is that the additional parts I would need to order would be a lot less or a lot fewer than if I did, you know, the other options of having something that spans all the way across. So that is kind of a bonus. Plus, now that I'm seeing it, I do like the look of this. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards this. Now, you can see obviously there's no roof on top of it, so you can't really see if it sags a whole lot, but we can test that out really quick here which we're gonna do by putting some weight on top of it. It does kind of sink down a little bit. I mean, that's gonna be inevitable. There's gonna be some sag. Now, this is kind of almost worst case scenario because all the weight's at the end here. There will be obviously weight, you know, all the way back here too. So, you know, a roof just spanning that entire width. So it might not sag all that much with a full roof, but yeah, I think I'm definitely leaning towards this route. I think it would look quite good, plus less parts intensive, and I think it would be less sag. What do you think, Emmett? What do you think? He's freaking out. He doesn't know. He doesn't know, but I think I know. I think we're gonna go with this route. All right, so after lowering these supports over here down to the size of the ones over there, I found enough parts to at least get started on a 4th roof support there. It's not complete, but gives you a little bit better idea of what one side will look like. But that's pretty much gonna do it for this update video. I know not a whole lot of visible physical progress was made. It's just, you know, these supports here. But we did figure out what route we're gonna go. I'm pretty much 99% sure we're gonna go this route. The ones that I originally wanted, you know, with the industrial kind of truss, or the, you know, the spanning across the full width of the field and stands, I don't think it's gonna work. This is, I think, gonna be the best route to go, just in terms of both structural integrity and also in terms of being able to, you know, view the stands and everything when I take it to a place like Brick World Chicago. So that's what we're gonna go with, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and keep on building.